Welcome to the Explainer. We all want to make progress in our lives. We set goals, we chase our ambitions, and we try to map out the future. But what if that entire framework we use, this constant striving for the next big thing, is actually holding us back? What if there's a better way? Today, we're going to go on a journey that goes way beyond simple goal setting. We're going to take apart our approach to achievement and build a completely new one from the ground up. The goal here is to uncover a path that leads to a life that doesn't just look good on paper, but one that feels genuinely, deeply fulfilled. All right, so here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll take a really hard look at our obsession with goals. Then, we'll build our new framework, piece by piece. We'll talk about the daily actions that actually create progress, the sneaky trap of trying to find the perfect system, how your own identity fits into all of this, and finally, we'll look at what science says a truly fulfilled life actually is. So first up, let's challenge some of the most common advice you've probably heard your whole life. For this part, we're going to lean on some powerful insights from James Clear, the author of the massive bestseller Atomic Habits. He's got a really compelling argument for why our intense focus on the finish line might be the very thing keeping us from ever winning the race. Now that's a statement that really makes you stop and think, right? Clear's whole argument is that we fixate on the goal, but our actual results, they're just a lagging measure of the systems we follow every single day. Think about it. Your bank account isn't a goal. It's a lagging measure of your financial habits. Your weight is a lagging measure of your eating habits. Goals are great for setting a direction, but it's the systems that actually get you there. And Clear points out 4 big problems that pop up when we get way too focused on goals. Okay, so here's the first big problem. Winners and losers have the exact same goals. I mean, every single athlete at the Olympics wants to win a gold medal. Every person launching a startup wants to build a successful company. But if the people who succeed and the people who fail share the exact same ambition, well then, the goal itself can't be what makes the difference. We get caught in what's called survivorship bias. We look at the winners, we see their big, ambitious goals, and we mistakenly think the goal caused their success. We totally ignore the thousands of others who had the same goal and failed. The goal was just the price of admission. It wasn't the winning ticket. And then there's the second problem. Achieving a goal is only a momentary change. Clear has this great analogy. Imagine your room is a total mess. You set a goal to clean it. You summon this huge burst of energy, and for a little while, you have a clean room. But if you still have the same sloppy habits that created the mess in the first place, you're going to have a new mess in no time. See, you treated the symptom, the messy room, without fixing the cause, which is the system. It's the exact same thing with crash diets. Sure, you might hit a weight goal, but if you don't fix the underlying eating habits, that weight is coming right back. To really improve for good, you have to stop chasing the outcomes and start fixing the inputs. The outputs will just take care of themselves. Okay, and this next one. This one really hits home for a lot of people. Goals restrict your happiness. The hidden assumption behind pretty much any goal is, once I get this, then I'll be happy. So you're basically putting your happiness on hold, always pushing it off to some future event. It creates this punishing either-or situation. Either I achieve my goal and I'm a success, or I don't and I'm a failure. This is something called the arrival fallacy, this false belief that once you finally get to where you want to go, you'll be happy forever. But we all know that feeling doesn't last. A systems-first mindset, on the other hand, frees you from that trap. It lets you find satisfaction in the process, right here and right now. And finally, goals are often at odds with long-term progress. A goal-focused mindset can create this really powerful yo-yo effect. Think about a marathon runner. They train like crazy for months. That goal, the finish line, is a huge motivator. But what happens the second they cross it? The motivation just evaporates. The goal is gone. So a lot of them just stop training. When all of your hard work is pointed at one specific outcome, what's left to push you forward after you get there? This is why so many of us fall back into our old habits right after we achieve something big. The goal gave us momentum, but it didn't build a sustainable lifestyle. So, if goals are the problem, what's the solution? Well, that brings us right to our second point, building a system. This is all about shifting your focus from the prize to the practice. It's about falling in love with the process, not just the final outcome. So what is a system, really? Well, if you're a coach, your goal is to win the championship. Your system is how you recruit, how you manage your staff, and how you run practice every single day. If you're a writer, your goal is to write a book. Your system is your writing schedule, your research process, your editing routine. See? The system is just the collection of daily habits that will, eventually, lead to the result you want. It's not about a one-time thing. It's a commitment to a cycle of constant improvement.
Now, this slide is really interesting because it puts it all side by side. Goals are definitely useful for planning your progress. They give you a direction, a place to point the ship, but systems are for actually making progress. Goals are about a temporary change, while systems create real long-term change. A goals-first mindset says you have to wait to be happy, but a systems-first mindset lets you be satisfied anytime your system is running. And this last point is everything. The purpose of setting goals is to win the game. But the purpose of building systems is to keep playing the game and to just keep getting better.
Okay, so you're on board with systems. Awesome. But, this is where a whole new problem can sneak in, and it's a very modern one. Picking a system to actually stick with. This is where so many of us fall into the endless, exhausting trap of chasing the perfect setup, the best app, the flawless routine. Oh man, I think we can all relate to this, right? This Reddit user just nails the feeling. You spend hours researching the best note-taking app. You try a new habit tracker every week, always thinking that this new tool is going to be the magic bullet. And it feels productive, but really, it's just a very sophisticated kind of procrastination. It's a way to get that little dopamine hit of a fresh start while avoiding the real, sometimes uncomfortable work of just showing up and being consistent.
Their solution was just brilliantly simple. Instead of chasing perfection, they made a simple rule. Commit to one setup, just one, for a full month. It was pretty much guaranteed to be imperfect, but the key was that hard rule: no switching allowed. And the result was huge. The focus completely shifted from fiddling with the tools to actually doing the work. It stopped being about finding the perfect system and started being about building self-trust. That belief that you can count on yourself to show up, even when it's not pretty or perfect.
So, that self-trust, that's the bridge to something even bigger, even more important. It connects our daily systems to the very core of who we are, our identity. Because a system without a why, without being connected to our sense of self, is really just empty motion, and it's never going to last. According to wellness coach Michelle Porter, having a strong sense of your own personal identity is what gives your systems meaning and the power to last. It's your inner compass. It's the story you tell yourself about who you are. When your system is aligned with that identity, your actions don't feel like chores anymore. They feel like expressions of who you are. A person who identifies as an athlete doesn't have to force themselves to train. It's just what they do. The action reinforces the identity, and the identity makes the action feel natural. And our identity isn't just one thing, right? It's this rich combination of all these different parts. It's your self-concept, how you see yourself and your abilities. It's your core values, the principles you live by. It includes all the different roles you play in life, and it's all shaped by your lived experiences. The most empowering part of all this is that your identity isn't set in stone. Every action you take is like casting a vote for the type of person you want to become. It evolves as we grow and choose our habits. So, if you're listening to this and feeling a little disconnected from that inner compass, the good news is it's not lost forever. Reconnecting isn't some big mystery you have to solve. Porter says it's a practical process of taking intentional action. We can do this through simple, repeatable practices, engaging in self-reflection, asking questions like, what activities give me energy? Which drains it? Clarifying which of our roles feel truly authentic, and which feel like obligations we're just carrying. Using mindfulness to just observe our thoughts without judging them. And, so importantly, giving ourselves permission to experiment, to try new things, explore new interests, and just see what clicks with the person we are today. Each little step helps us recalibrate that inner compass. And this brings us to our final, biggest zoom out. We have the how, our daily systems. We have the who, our core identity that guides those systems. But where is all of this going? What's the ultimate why? We're not just building systems to be more productive, we're trying to build a life. But what does a truly fulfilled life even mean? For this, we're going to turn to some really fascinating research from the University of Zurich. Researchers wanted to get past all the abstract philosophy and actually map out what a fulfilled life contains, based on what ordinary people just like you and me, actually describe. So they analyzed hundreds of these descriptions and built a scientific framework of the core components. So here's what they found. The experience of fulfillment really breaks down into two main categories. The first is cognitive, which is how we think about our life when we look back on it. This includes the feeling that we've lived life fully, that it was rich with experiences. It includes having attained personally significant goals. And notice, not just any goals, but ones that truly matter to us. It's about having developed the self, that feeling of personal growth. And it's about having made a contribution, leaving things a little better than we found them. The second category is affective, which is how we feel about our life. This is where we find feelings of harmony and peace, a deep sense of gratitude, a profound inner contentment that isn't dependent on what's happening outside, and, maybe most importantly, a life that is widely free of deep, lasting regrets. So when we put it all together, we see a path that is just so much richer than just setting and hitting targets. It starts with building consistent, even imperfect systems. It's grounded in a deep and evolving understanding of who you are, and it's all aimed not at a single finish line, but at this beautiful, textured, and deeply personal vision of a fulfilled life, one that's defined by growth, contribution, harmony, and gratitude. The journey isn't about winning the game. It's about designing a game you truly love to play every single day.